Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the hot air mode, really the dry heat mode, if you will. And we're going to cook a variety of different things to show you how to get the most of it. Because a combi, it's a multi-purpose machine, but it also cooks very much like your convection oven. But this particular BCX has a lot of features that can take your baking to the next level. Frozen bread here, it's already par baked. So what we're going to do is use combi, specifically dry heat and a little bit of steam on demand to get temperature into it, keep it moist, and also crisp it up as well. I also have what we call petit pan or half baguettes. Great sandwich bread here. They're frozen. We're going to put them in, cook them off as well. So, okay, now we just close the door. I'm set at 400 degrees. Now the great thing about the BCX combi is that we have steam on demand. More like moistening or steam injection whenever we want, okay? So I'm just going to turn the dial to 1 and hit steam on demand, okay? And that will give me 1 minute of steam. And it'll add moisture, it'll help defrost the bread. Now later on, I'll open the vent and crisp it up. So you have to determine whether your customers like a moist, soft outer crust or a real crispy one. You can do both, okay? And of course, we can adjust the fan speed as well if you need to. For this one, standard high works really quite well. So the next thing that I want to do for you while we're waiting for that to cook is we're going to make some Parmesan cheese crisp, and I'll show you a couple innovative things that you can do with it to serve to your guest, okay? Some of you may never have tried this before, but it's really a lot of fun. I've just got some Parmesan cheese here that's roughly grated in our little food processor, okay? And I just take a big old handful of it and kind of put little circles right there on the mat here. And this is one of those little Simplet mats, okay? And I think I'm just going to make about 6 of them. Now as you see the Parmesan crisp cooking in there, you can see that it's really still nice and totally bubbly and clear. It's not browning, and it's going to start browning on the edges. When you want to pull this is when it's crispy, starting to get crispy on the edge, but still puffy and bubbly cheese in the middle. That's when you pull it out, because then it's going to be pliable. Okay, now what we want to do is take the crisp, nice golden on the edges, just throw them right over top of our cup. Okay, I'm going to take the larger of the 3, and we're going to make little salad bowls out of these guys. And let's see, this one looks a little bit bigger, a little bit funky, offset. And now what I do is I kind of use these cups to set over top of it a little bit, because they crisp up really quickly here. Now let's come back to these guys, and we'll pull this little lid off. And now what we have here is a beautiful salad plate for our, just put a little bit of mixed greens in there, some arugula, and you got a great little presentation, a plate that's pretty much edible. One of the things what we want to do before we go into the, grilled cheese and French fries, can you hear this bread cracking? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. You want your bread to be crackling like that, and then when you cut it, a really nice crust. Can you hear that? That's a beautiful thing. Now we cooked the bread beautifully. You got beautiful dough. It's thoroughly cooked. It's still hot and nice crispy on the outside. This is really the way you want your bread. If your customers prefer it a little bit more softer, just add a little bit more steam on demand right before you take it out. But good color, good texture, beautiful ears on the bread. This is a beautiful product. Okay, now grilled cheese. We've got them. You can actually cook grilled cheese on a perforated pan. You can see this sheet pan that has holes in it, or more, traditional like you're currently using with parchment paper. Now I might move these out a little bit so that the parchment paper doesn't flap all over the place, okay? And we're going to go ahead and pop these right in the combi right away, and then we'll load our French fries. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is we make this special fry pan. We've fooled around with a pan that was more shaped like a hotel pan, but for doing French fries in here, especially in bulk, and we're just using some Orita product right here. You can pre-spray that grid, makes it a little bit easier to work. pop these puppies in there. Now we've got a lot of schools across the country doing French fries utilizing this pan, or even I want to show you, even you can even do it right on a sheet pan if you choose to. Okay, so we'll get this going. The other thing that we're going to do too is, of course, what would be breakfast without tater tots? So we'll get that going as well. All right, so we're going to pop these guys right in there as well. In about 6 minutes, what we're going to do is then we're going to open the vent and let some of the humidity out to intensify the crisping. Normally these French fries can take about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to cook them in about 12. The grilled cheese, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Usually takes about 4, no more than 5 minutes to cook the grilled cheese. So as soon as it's ready, we'll pull it out and slice it up for you. So what you can see here with the grilled cheeses is we had the grilled cheese that we cook on a perforated pan. Now I added no fat to the grilled cheese, okay? And then we have the ones that we cooked on parchment paper. You can see they cook beautifully on the bottom and pretty well on top as well. So you can see that it'll work whether you use a perforated pan. Works a little bit better with the perforations, okay? So let's cut these guys in half, okay? And we've got nice grilled cheese. The steam on demand helps the cheese, of course, melt beautifully. Look at that. Can you see that pretty well? So we've got excellent grilled cheese sandwiches here that we can do. Look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, the BCX is telling me that the French fries and the tater tots are done. Beautiful. There's our tater tots. Now with the screen, you can just take the screen right out and dump them right into your hotel pan. Now we'll just add a little bit of salt, and we've got nice, crispy tater tots and French fries ready to serve up immediately. This is tilapia that's been breaded. To enhance the coloring, sometimes you can add a little bit of paprika into your breading mixture. That also enhances it. You can also use sprays to spray on the outside of it to get a really nice crisp crust. Now you saw on the grilled cheese that we used no spray and it came out crispy, but for a breaded product like fish or chicken or veal, breaded eggplant, you want to really get a beautiful pronounced color, crispiness all the way through. Now there's, in addition to spray oils, you can use pan coating spray that's just a pure vegetable oil, but I prefer the sprays, and they have different flavored ones as well. Now you saw also on the grilled cheese that the grilled cheese that was in the perforated pan actually crisp up much better, and that's a fact. So when you're cooking breaded products, you can use a perforated sheet pan, and or you can cook on a sheet pan with a wire grid. Spray that as well, and you'll get the really nice crispiness on both sides. And in this particular situation, what I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, say 10 to 12 pieces per pan, 5 pans at a time every 4 or 5 minutes, okay? Now I'm going to use hot air, about 400 degrees, and 1 minute of steam on demand. The steam will actually steam the fish, then the hot air kicks in, open the vent, and will crisp it up. We'll have beautifully cooked fish with a breaded crust and very little or no fat at all. Now what I did is I opened up the vent just a moment ago, and you're getting all the steam and hot air out of there, and it's intensifying the browning on this beautiful tilapia. There it is, moist. Look at that, really moist to the outside, or the inside there, crispy all the way around. That is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of prime rib in the hot air mode as we finish up with hot air. And there's some tips and tidbits I want to share with you. First of all, we have a detachable core temperature probe, which is really very helpful. It's very safe. It'll prevent you from getting burned. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you as well. Now, we just insert it right into the center of the roast here. Now, another important feature is you have a lot of different ways that you can cook prime rib, top rounds of beef. You can cook them all the way through in combi. You can cook them in hot air. You have a lot of choice. Most people that are cooking today, a lot of them are using convection ovens. We can cook in the same format. If we flip to the combi mode, we can save a lot of money. However, with our BCX, we also have the ability to do low temperature cooking and also holding, okay? So the other important thing about that, when we're cooking in convection ovens at a little bit higher temperature, you can actually insert little slits into your roast and insert garlic. When you're cooking at higher temperatures, the garlic will give that beautiful raw garlic flavor into your roast. When you're cooking at low temperature, you don't want to do that because the roast cooks so slow that the garlic's not going to cook properly, okay? So we've seasoned this up with our seasoning. I have it on a wire grid so that air can get totally around it, and then a drip pan below. Now, if you're doing more roast, of course, you can use a sheet pan and on a grid. And then also, too, you have the option. If we open the unit, you can cook the meat right on the wire grids and put drip pans right below it because it's very easy to clean, as I'll demonstrate in a little bit, okay? So let's load the roast into the BCX combi. Okay, now you can see most core temperature probes are on the inside, and now you would have to handle it, drop it in ice water, cool it down, and then insert it to the meat. Otherwise you'll end up with a big hole in it. We can insert our detachable core temperature probe right in here. Go ahead and close the door. Now remember too, if you put rosemary or other type of herbals on the top of your roast, try and stay below 350 degrees so that those herbs don't burn and get bitter, okay? And sometimes you can add those beautiful rosemary flavored oil at the end of the roast as well. So we're going to roast this off at 300 degrees, about high fan speed for just 20 minutes. Get the good color that we're looking for. Then I'm going to lower the temperature, okay, down to about 200, 175, 200 degrees, and let it go nice and slow. But that's where I have a little toggle switch here between the clock counting down and the core temperature probe. Okay, I set it for 120 degrees. As soon as it hits that temperature, it'll shut off. If I choose to hold in here, then I'll go to the most gentle fan speed. And actually, while I am cooking, I am going to lower the fan speed to as low so that I don't have too much over roasting on the outside of that roast. Okay, and I can keep the vent closed, of course. So this is going to allow me to do a lower type roast cook and then hold on it, okay? So it's going to take about, I'd say, 3 hours to do this, possibly 4, because I want to go nice and slow because the results will be worthwhile. And then we'll come back. Okay, our low temperature roasting of our prime rib is done, and we pulled it out of the oven, pulled the core temperature probe out. We cooked it to an internal temperature of 125 degrees, and we let it rest for a little bit, so the temperature probably went up another few degrees, but we're looking at a really nice hot red center. I'm going to cut a slice of it for you now. We'll take it off the grid, put it here on the cutting board, and let's just give this a nice slice and see what we got here. Wow, that is really, really quite nice. I don't know if you can zoom in on that. You can see that by the roasting it just for about 10 minutes, the outer edge just gets that browning flavor, that roasted flavor that you want. And then by turning the temperature down and letting it cook real slow, I minimize the shrinkage. I'm getting a great yield, and I get a beautiful roast that we're looking at here. And of course, you know, this is the cut that I'm going to have for dinner tonight. This is the end cut. Beautiful roasting on the outside, but thoroughly cooked all the way through. And a beautiful 127 to 128 degrees internal there. That's absolutely gorgeous for a prime rib. Nice and juicy. Doesn't get any better than that, okay? Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can cook prime rib, and this is just one. When you go with low temperature cooking, it increases your yield, gives you a faster return on investment for the things that you're doing, and it's just another great benefit that the combi can provide for you.